Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's the brother Kadash back with another day at camp. Another week. I want to say salvation to the elect, but I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bakashem, Yahweh Shai, Bakashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers and sisters in truth. Salvation to the elect. That's very important during these times because we're getting close to these times. This camp, I was studying through the book of Revelation, so I want to start off with Revelation chapter 6. I think I'm going to name it like Esau is the red horse, just in case you didn't know what the red horse represented and who that was talking about. But he's also the devil, he's also Satan, he's also Cain in the reincarnation, if you have ears to hear. So with me naming this camp, that I want to go in and break that down, you know, and use scriptures to back that up, you know, because that's the difference. We don't just go off, like we not out here with no Bible in our hand and just going off our hearts. We go off, thus say the Lord, thus say the Bible, and all scripture, all the books in the Bible is inspired by the Lord, you know. And even in 2 Timothy 3:16, at the time maybe it wasn't written when it says all scripture is applied by the Lord, it's inspired by the Lord. But what it meant when that saying came to pass is that every scripture that would make it into the Holy Bible is inspired by the Lord. And even the Apocrypha, even that they try to take it out. So let's use that to break down who this Edomite is in even more depth, because I've done it plenty of times. It's so loud down here, man. I got a new location, but it's just so loud, you know. So let's start off. Let's just get straight into it. This is Revelation chapter 6. This is what inspired me. You know, the Spirit got on me. I was reading through Revelation chapter 6, breaking it down. You know, Revelation 6 goes into the different horses. The white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and the pale horse. Well, we know the white horse represents Yahweh Shai. But my point is that the red horse represents our adversary, you know, which are the Edomites. It represents Esau. You know, a lot of people can see that. Revelations is a very fun book once you know the breakdowns and the understanding, you know. And Revelation 6 also gets into the nukes and stuff like that. The black horse had balances representing judgment, right? And then, you know, the gray horse, the pale horse represents death. So we got that premise already started. So let's just get straight to the point then, since we already got that started. I'll read from verse 1. It says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were a noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering to conquer." Right? So that's the white horse. So even breaking down who the white horse is and understanding that that's Yahweh Shai, well, it says he had a crown and he went conquering. So you have to ask yourself, if he's conquering places, what happens when you conquer a place? So is America going to be around? Is America a great place? Is the Lord not going to conquer America when he comes back? Salaki, this dude, he's just driving around downtown with the sirens on. Is the Lord not going to conquer America, Mystery Babylon, when he comes back? Of course, that's why he's going to be conquering. It says, or is he going to heal America when he comes back? No, he's going to conquer it. It says, when we had opened the second seal, I heard a second beast saying, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So when you breaking down the Bible, these are key words, key phrases that you have to remember. This is how you make parables. This is how you get precepts. Who was given that great sword? Well, we know that Esau was given the blessing of the sword. So that's how you break down who's the red horse. Who's Esau? Well, we know that the scriptures, which we're going to get to it, say that Esau was given the red sword. We know that, I said the red sword. He was given the great sword. But we know that the red horse now is saying that he was given a great sword. And he's wicked. That's why he's called the red horse. And we know that he took peace from the earth. Now we can look at today and say, who's those people that fit that prophecy? Who's the people that rules the earth by the sword, that has the greatest sword? Well, it will have to be the greatest military on earth, which is the American military. That's the sword. They got more nukes than anybody. They got more fighter jets than anybody. They got more destroyer ships, warships than anybody. That's the great sword. That's the weapons that they use. You know, they're stronger than any other military on earth as far as right now. You know, so that's who was talking about the great sword. And they went and they took the peace away from the earth. They all over there in Iran in their business. They in Iraq in their business. Libya, Syria, y'all in Africa. They in trade wars with China. Because of America's on the earth right now, there's no peace on earth. But even more than that, who of America? Is it Latinos Americans? Is it the Negro Americans? No, we don't have no power. We don't have no military. You know, it's the Edomites, the so-called white men. If you didn't know, those are the ones with the power seat. That's who ruling the earth. That's when we get the second address 6-9. It says Esau will be in the rulership at the end, and Jacob's kingdom is the one that follows. This is a special lesson for me because Revelation is my favorite book. So I take Revelations very serious, you know. You got to swallow your pride, and you got to ask a question. Like I just asked the apostle to break down Revelations 16 when it's talking about the angel poured out on the sun, and it was given to him to scorch the man with fire. And then it talks about, and then in the next verse it talks about the kingdom should be in darkness. So I'm like, is that talking about the heat waves and the blackouts, which is going to lead up to the nukes? Yeah. You know, but I could have just went off my own mind and kind of just, okay, I kind of know that. Yeah, I knew that, but I wanted to verify. That's when you know you take something serious, when you want to verify it, you know? And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't no shame in that. But, so, the key phrases I want you to pay attention to is take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. Second address 15, right? And there was given unto him a great sword. Take peace from the earth and a great sword. So jumping to Revelation chapter 12, starting at verse 7. No, I'm sorry, verse 3. It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a red dragon. So it's saying the same thing, red horse, but then there was a red dragon. You best believe that the red horse got something to do with the red dragon, right? And behold, the great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. The 10 horns is talking about the kingdoms that's the dragon allies. It's allies with these different kingdoms, these different EU nations and stuff like that. Now, the 7 heads go back to the power structure of the so-called white man, how he came up. So he came, we know he started with the Greeks, with Alexander the Greek. You know, that was the first major kingdom they had. That was the first head. Then the Romans, you know, pagan Roman Empire, which was taken over by Jakes later on. Then it became the Holy Roman Empire. It was taken over by Israelites. You know, some of those Israelites got to be Caesars and stuff over that. We always took over their kingdoms. That's why in Daniel chapter 7 it says the saints in the Most High should take the kingdom. You know, and as with the Romans, you know, you had the after they went out of power, they came back into the in power. You had man, I'm trying to make sure I got it in order. You had the French, right? No, I'm sorry. Here, let me look that up. I know you got Germaner Major, Germaner Minor, you got the French, you got the Spaniards, and then you got the British. But let me make sure I got that in order. And those are the 7 heads, but let me make sure I got it in order. Because I got it down somewhere right here. See, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you got to make sure you get things in order, you know, and get things right. So you got the Greeks, Romans, the French, the Spanish, then Germaner Major, Germaner Minor, then Great Britain. So after the Romans, you had the French. So I got the heads right, but you want to make sure you get it in order, you know, so you can get the truth out there. And that's another thing. A lot of brothers is worried about looking like an all-star player, looking like they know all things and stuff like that. And sometimes that overshadow just getting the truth out there. Just being humble and getting the truth out there. You know, swallowing your pride, and that's what comes along with the mark of the beast. A lot of men had it wrong, and they won't just come out and say, look, we had it wrong, this is the truth. You know, it takes a strong man to do that, just like the apostles. You know, they believed that the end was going to come in the year 2000. But they were strong enough men and humble enough to come out and say, look, we had that wrong. We thought it was. Everybody thought it was during that time. But we had it wrong. There ain't nothing wrong with that, because they would rather get the truth out there too. So you got let's go over again. The Greeks, the Roman, the French, the Spaniard, Germaner Major, Germaner Minor, right? And then you got Great Britain. And those are the kingdoms. And we know America comes from Great Britain. It comes from the 12 colonies of Great Britain. They came over here. The Spaniards also came over here, took down the Mexicans, the Aztecs, the Native Americans. That's why they speak Spanish. So the Spaniards was over here, the French was over here, Great Britain was over here, and from that, those settlers, you got America today. But those are the same people. Those are the Edomites, the red dragon, the red horse. So let's keep going. Right? Back in Revelation chapter 12, it says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So when the Lord is coming back, out the skies, it says the Lord is coming back from the heavens. When it's saying the heavens, it's just saying the Lord is coming back from the skies. When the Lord is coming back to bring judgment on the earth, they're going to fight against the Lord in the heavens. That's the war in the heavens. So-called UFOs and the rulership of this earth is going to fight against the Lord when they're coming back. Why would the Lord have to come back and conquer and set up a kingdom if this place is already righteous? He's coming back to destroy it, because it's a wicked place and it's ruled by the Edomites. So he's coming back to take them out of power. There's not going to be another kingdom on earth when the Lord sets up his kingdom. So what's going to happen to America? It's going to be destroyed. You know, so when you break that down, he's coming back and they standing there, they want to devour him. 2 Ezra chapter 13 says they want to subdue the man that flew on the mountain. It says that he brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up into God and his throne. He's talking about Yahushua. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has placed prepared of God, that they shall feed her there 1,260 days. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angel. So this war in the heaven that we're reading about, like I said, is the Lord coming back from the skies, from the space. And just like you got Independence Day, it's the armies of the earth going up to fight against the Lord, to subdue the Lord, because the Lord is coming back to destroy their system and their kingdom. Right? It says, it prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. They're not going to win, you know. It says that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So here it is, Esau, the armies of who runs the armies of the earth, man? Who has the power to fight against the Lord in space? Who has spaceships? And it's not the Negroes, it's not the Israelites, right? So here it is, Esau is the red horse. He makes up the red dragon. He's the old serpent, because this goes all the way back to Adam and Eve, man. That same spirit in the old serpent, that's the same spirit that came back in Cain, that came back in Esau. He's the devil, because he deceives the world. He and Satan, because they follow Satan, even though Satan is in complete order under the Lord. So it's really just a setup. Everything is by the way of the Lord. He was cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Meaning they're not going to win that war, man. They're not going to win that war. They're going to be cast out. Even verse 12 says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knows that his time is short. Who has the power to come down on people with great wrath? The Edomites, man. So let's jump to Revelation chapter 13 real quick. Then I want to get something back in Revelation chapter 12. Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, right? Because this is the Roman Empire all over again. So you had the Roman Empire was destroyed. Then that deadly wound was healed. Then they came back. French, Spaniards, Germaner Major, Germaner Minor, British, now Americans. They came back to rulership, and this is just Rome all over again. It says, and I saw one of his heads, I already read that. It says, and they worshiped the dragon, see, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with them? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power given unto him to continue 42 days. They speak blasphemies against the Lord. They say same-sex marriage is okay here. You could be what you want to be. The women are all out of order. They don't need a man. So they speak in blasphemy against the Lord's law, which is the same thing as speaking blasphemy against the Lord. And they go even further. They speak blasphemy actually against the Lord too. The Lord didn't stop the pandemic. We did. The Lord has nothing to do with this. They want to get rid of, the Lord doesn't exist. They believe in science. These are ways that they blaspheme against the Lord, man. And they blaspheme against his people, us. We ain't never gonna be saved. We ain't gonna never have no power. We're on the other side of the wage gap. We're horrible people. We're the scums of the earth. They say all that stuff, man, about us. We're bywords and proverbs. It just keeps going and on. He opened his mouth and blasphemy against God and blaspheme his name. They say that his name is Jesus Christ when it's not. That's not Hebrew. They say that he looks like an Edomite and he got leprosy skin. And he's weak, like the image of Jesus Christ. That's not the Lord, man. Not the Lord of this Bible. It says, and power was given to him over kindred and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb slain from the foundations of the world. That's powerful, because how do they make you worship him? They make you worship Jesus Christ. So by you worshiping Jesus Christ, you worshiping the Edomites. That's the Edomites' God. You're bowing down to a God that looks like them and acts like them. If you go back to who the dude is, Caesar Borgia, you worshiping the Edomites. So they made the world worship them. But us, that's written in the book of life, we ain't worshiping them. That's why we're written in that book of life. Hopefully let it. That be us, If any man have an ear, let him hear it. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. Who's led more people into captivity more than the so-called white man? There's nobody else on the earth that's led a group of people, more people into captivity than so-called white man, because there's no bigger slavery than the transatlantic slave trade ever on earth. So this is pointing to who it's talking about. And he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is the patience and this is the faith of the saints. And you could keep going really all Revelation chapter 13, but we're not going to get on that point. So I wanted to go back to Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, when it said that great dragon, the old serpent. Oh yeah, and that's why I remember. He said, look, that same spirit was in Cain. So we got to say, look, Esau is Cain, reincarnated. But we got to go and prove it. Because remember, Revelation 6, it said the two things that we had to remember was he was given that great sword and he took peace from the earth. So when you jump back to off the top of the head, this is great. This is, I ain't going to say great studying, but it's in-depth studying, Even though I got to still look up, make sure I get in the order, you know, but that comes with wisdom, that comes with time and experience. Revelation chapter 4. You know, to inspire other brothers to do the same thing, you gotta study. You gotta study, man. This is Revelation chapter 4. Right? I'm gonna jump straight to the point. Verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So if you know the story of Cain and Abel, Cain killed Abel because the Lord accepted Abel's sacrifice. It's the same thing with Jacob and Esau. Jacob got the blessing, the birthright, and Esau had a vendetta and wanted to kill Jacob because he got the blessing, the birthright, because Esau sold it. So it's that same spirit Cain wanted to kill Abel for. Now Abel got killed, so therefore we had to come through the bloodline. They had to have another child named Seth, and we had to come through the bloodline of Seth because Abel got killed. But there was some certain things that was going to happen, which I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth, which Esau is. He's wanted for all the slavery and all the killing and the murder and the robbing of lands. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance should be taken out on him sevenfold. You go kill it, go over here to the east side and join one of these gangs and kill a nigga, compared to coming over here on the west side and go kill an Edomite, and see that your ass get way worse, way more time if you kill an Edomite. They coming to get you. It ain't gonna be no cold case. They gonna figure out the case. 7 times fold. We even see it today. It says that Cain went from the presence of the Lord. No, I'm sorry. Lest any of final should kill him. Here, let me go back. So Cain was crying to the Lord, said, look, my punishment is greater than what, you know, But the Lord put a mark on Cain. It says, behold, thou hast driven out the day from the face of the earth, from the face it shall be hid, and shall be a fugitive vagabond on earth, and it come that everyone finding me shall slay me. The Lord said, therefore, whoever findeth slave Cain, vengeance shall be taken on sevenfold. The Lord set a mark upon Cain. So this mark will have to be a visual mark, because how would anybody know that that's Cain? And it's not just talking about Cain, that's why he set a mark on him. It's talking about his seed too. So how will somebody bump into Cain and see this mark on him? Is it a spiritual mark? How are they going to see a mark on Cain and know, look, if I kill him, it's going to be sevenfold on me? No, this mark was actually appearance. It was the mark of leprosy. That's why Esau came back reincarnated, and he came back with that same mark on him as Cain, because he's Cain reincarnated. That's why I'm breaking down the similarity. So anybody that see him will see the leprosy, see the pigment taking out his skin, see the white skin, the so-called white skin, the pale skin, the red skin, and they would know, oh, this is Cain. They would see that mark on him, because he would look different from other people. That's the mark that was put on him. You know, it wasn't no tattoo or nothing like that. So at least any fine